Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo Saturday edition. I am your host and keeper of the Harry channel, and with me tonight are Minions 4, SkepTok.
Hi everybody, I'm not AI.
You're not AI. Serenity Star 13.
Hi.
DrFunctional.
I am AI.
And Sora Luna.
Am I? I don't know.
And we can actually hear you tonight. Are you doing the thing on your phone?
I am doing the thing on my phone with headphones, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, thank you for your sacrifice and service. So, before the stream, you were talking about Taco Bell.
Yes.
And I remember there was a friend of mine from, I don't know, it seems like half a lifetime ago, because it probably is about half a lifetime ago. And she was the girlfriend of a good friend of mine, and she was a lovely human being. I mean, one of those very warm, just a really fantastic, nice lady, technical writer. She'd always wear sweaters with like literally hearts embroidered on the sleeves, you know, one of those people. But she didn't.
I like that.
She could not handle heat at all. So she thought Taco Bell was spicy, and not like with the spicy, you know, flaming ring of fire sauce or something. It's like actually spicy.
Not spicy.
Yeah, she would think that it was like super spicy. And there was this Mexican place that opened up, and I use the term Mexican advisedly. It was a doctor who created this chain that he was trying to franchise called Rue's Cafe Salsa. And it was like Taco Bell, but with better ingredients and even less spice. It was the blandest, the blandest stuff. You could probably pair it with like some Australian lager beer, and that would be like the perfect combination. Just eating doctor-approved flavorless tacos with flavorless lager beer. Sorry, nice. Australia.
That makes me sad.
It does.
Flavorless Mexican food. That's so sad.
Well, you know, people have different thresholds for stuff. I can totally understand somebody just being averse to capsicum and not wanting to eat a bunch of that. That's fine. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with chicken where it's like, it's vaguely chicken. It's like chicken with a little bit of something and go, oh, that's different. No, it still just tastes like chicken. It's still chicken, even if it's wrapped in a tortilla. It's still chicken. But anyway, Sora, though I digress, do you have anything you want to mention? How has your week been?
Well, I've had a terrible, terrible cold.
Ooh.
The worst part was on Tuesday, where and I didn't take any time off of work because I can't afford, like, well, we don't have people, so I don't have time to take off time of work. So I went full on PPE on Tuesday because it was the worst of the cold. I literally slathered Vicks all over my body and face. It works. It's very good. I recommend. If you need to be out like under my mask and everything, I probably look like an absolute deranged psycho, but there you go.
Yeah.
In like 10 layers and I put you put a bit of if you have I recommend this. I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or what. This is very common when I was little. If you have sore throat, douse some like isopropyl alcohol onto like a hanky or something. You put that against your throat, and then you wrap it tight with a scarf, like a thin scarf, like a summer weight scarf, and then that will really help in getting that down. Of course, along with like meds and stuff, but it's good to sleep like that. So that helps a lot. Yeah, so that was me at work on Tuesday.
So that's alcohol on the, so that's an alcohol cloth pressed against
it was like
skin.
A compress.
Yeah, a compress. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
and it's great. That got me through the day, and I smelled very medicinal. So at least there's that.
Did you do that thing with like the poultice under your chin and wrap the scarf or the bandage, you know, between your chin and the top of your head?
A mustard thing.
Yeah, mustard poultice.
On the back. Well, no. Luckily, I didn't really. I think that's for coughing, isn't it?
I don't know.
Like if you have a really bad cough or something. Yeah, no.
For like when you have gout and consumption simultaneously, or I don't know.
I remember reading. I can't remember. I remember all the books I used to read as a kid because I loved all these. You know, frontier / old timey stuff. So, like, I vaguely remember all the poultices that didn't work.
Yeah.
No, I still have a cough, so sometimes I might start hacking. It's just dry, but it's tickle. So I'll be like talking, and then it's all the air is sucked out of my lungs.
Yeah.
But other
Yep.
than
I know that
that,
feeling.
and my nose still a little bit fighting me. It's all good.
Yeah.
That was kind of my week, trying to survive that.
Yep.
But you know, you work through the cold. This is non-medical advice, by the way, completely not medical advice. But if it's just a little cold like that, it's just better to work through it, or at least be up and about. As much as I would rather just be in bed, because that probably keeps everything going, and it's, you know, you're not drowning in mucus.
Well, there's a difference between something with, what is it, the R factor of 1 to 3 and 30 to 50. It's not like Ebola or anything. It's probably
No.
around, and a lot of people are fighting it off.
It's what it is most likely it's been so dry, like everything was dry, and when your mucosal bits and pieces are so dry, you're more susceptible to getting something, because it's not fighting off as good as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm and it's been warm too, so like unseasonably warm. So that it's been dry, which is unusual here, because usually we have a bit of humidity in the air, and you know, I was amongst the unwashed masses last weekend, so it's very possible that I picked something up at Comic-Con or Fan Expo version, our version.
Yeah, it's
But
probably a mixture of con crud, because
Yeah.
if you're not used to going to cons,
no,
will
and like
sneak
and
up behind you
people
and smack you.
people yeah, and people over here, because it's here, people are extremely clean, and like in terms of there was the amount of masks that people were wearing, like actual like medical masks, was
Mhm.
impressive, because it's Vancouver. So
Mm.
people are still
What-
hey, I wear it for work, so
No, I'm not judging.
I wonder what
It is
Comic-Con's
what
like
it is.
in Australia. Is there a Comic-Con Australia?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting
to
to
be.
compare the Comic-Cons throughout the Anglosphere.
Sydney must have.
I believe Sydney has one.
I have never been to a con like that. Have I ever been to a con?
They're big and they're chaotic, and it's called Oz
I s-
Comic Con.
Oh, there we go. I still want to go to San Diego Comic-Con. Since I was like in high school, I've wanted to go to it.
You're gonna have to get a hotel room like 3 years out. That's the only way it's gonna happen.
mhm.
San Diego is a great city. You should just plan for it.
I've been to San Diego when I was a kid. We went. My dad, my first cousin, and I. We were for about 10 days in Los Angeles. So we drove down. We did kind of like a tour of there. So I remember it very fondly. Well, we went to aquarium, that kind of stuff. But I really, really liked it.
Yeah, going to places as a kid and going to places as a older kid and as an adult are 3 entirely different experiences based on what I've experienced. I'm sure that if I go back to Hawaii, it would be very different. Yeah.
1980 San Diego, best city that has ever existed. Period.
I went to San Diego for a conference, not a con, but a conference, right after a tropical storm one time. And the city there weren't as many people around. It was largely deserted, and there was just like crap in the streets everywhere. It was kind of apocalyptic, but I really enjoyed being there. It was actually a lot of fun. One of my customers wanted to have lunch in the Gaslight District, and so he decided that we had to go to Hooters. It was the one and only time I've been to a Hooters. We had all these fantastic options, and that's what he wanted to do. It's like, okay, you're my customer. We're going to Hooters.
Customer's always right.
Customer's always right.
We used to have a Hooters downtown, and it closed down like many, many, many years ago. It's so sad. I've always wanted to go. Like we wanted to go like as a group in high school, and then it closed down.
Yeah.
The amount of commercial activity in the world that is suggested and put into motion by mammary tissue is absolutely staggering.
Mm.
That economy is gigantic.
Yeah. Well, a number of similar establishments have actually been going out of business and losing locations, and it's sort of the cheesecake plus food business that's not Cheesecake Factory is not doing particularly well as a sector. But that's just my impression from a lot of the news I read getting ready for the show. Let's see. So we should say hi to DrFunctional before he falls asleep on us.
Hi.
Hi. How's the gym?
It's fine, I guess.
Good. You've been you're continuing to go to the gym a lot and experience your toxic masculinity getting fit.
Sure, yeah.
Good.
I'm preparing for all the ex-IRGC members to be immigrating to Canada any day now.
Mm. Yeah, and they'll probably let them in, throw flower petals in their wake and play music and all that sort of stuff.
I wish I was kidding.
No, I'm there with you. We both kind of live in terrible places. I gotta say, I'm getting tired of trying to apologize for California or make it look sunny. I think my level of hatred for this state is probably at an all-time high this week, and I'm just trying to decide how much I can say on air, and probably not as much as I would like to.
Yeah, say less than you think, Curry.
Yeah,
You know that.
I know.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that I've never wanted to move out of the state more than this week. This is just
Hey,
been a
Harry,
terrible week.
just send me
Fair
an
enough,
article and I'll say it. Say it for you.
No, it's not an article. It's something that the state is doing to me personally, which is why I can't talk about it. So let's see. So did you have anything you wanted to share with the class functional before we move on to Serenity?
No, my life's boring.
Okay. You know, boring is not so bad. I promise. It's really not. I did have something good happen to me. I mean, it's the only luck I've had this week. I've had this dodgy engine control thing. I've had the idiot light that says check engine for months now. And I got my registration thing about a month ago saying, oh, you have to go to the smog check 2 thing. That's where they do the double secret smog check on you and they really make sure your car is working. And I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have anything to deal with this sort of stuff. So my plan was, it tends to run better when it gets warmer. The thing is, it trips this sensor and I get an engine light when I start it in the cold. And it's been warm in the last few days. I went to get my oil changed, got my oil changed, turned the thing over, and the check engine light was off. And what's beautiful about this was 15 feet away in the other bay was the smog check thing. So I got my oil changed, wheeled around, went into the smog check, had it checked. It passed. I'm good for another 2 years. And I know that like probably in the next couple days it's going to trip right back. But it was just like my plan. I don't think I've had a plan come together on that level in such a long time. I mean, it could not have gone more smoothly. Yeah.
You shouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, I know.
At all. There's completely useless stress on you.
Yeah.
Is it this smog test thing, is that a part of your insurance that you have to do, or is it a governmental thing? Because we used to have like air care here.
It's a state requirement.
I'll give you the short version. Okay. LA Basin in particular has I guess what they call an inverted ceiling or an inversion that happens, and it creates a thermal barrier, and all of the smoke and the car exhaust and everything else that goes up in LA hits that thing, and you get like photochemical smog in the morning. The UV hits it, and you literally have low visibility when it gets really, really bad. It's like London was when all these people were dying at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. And so they created this thing, the California Air Resources Management Board. And part of their regulations is they really come down hard on you about emissions on cars. It really isn't that much different than the Euro 5 specification that's in Europe right now. Not that claiming it's the same as Europe is an excuse. It's just as bad as Europe, but you know, a slightly different formulation. But they have actually done a pretty good job of making the air healthier. But but as with any government thing, they never stop. They just keep grinding and grinding and grinding. And that's why we use the special gas and everything else, because God forbid they just go, our work here is done. You know, the children being enslaved to make buggy whips crisis is over and we can go on and do other things. No. Nope. It's got to go on forever and never end because it's government. And that's not just a California thing. So, of course, I got a great California story for you later. But Okay, so who am I talking to? Am I talking to Serenity now? I think I'm talking to Serenity now.
I believe so.
Hi, Serenity.
Hello.
What's new and exciting?
Nothing much. It got up almost to 70 degrees today. We're gonna be 40 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing major there. My mother's car, which is 5 years old, the battery finally died. And she's nowhere near me. She's stuck there for now. So there's that. Not really much else is going on.
I've got 167,000 and change miles on my car. And I realized today I'm on my first clutch.
Ooh, that's
Still.
impressive, sir. That's impressive.
that is really impressive.
Wow.
If
Yeah.
this was my old Mustang SVO,
Oh God, no,
I would be on clutch number 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd be on your 5th or 6th one. Yeah.
God, that car
Yours
broke a
is-
lot, but I loved it.
Yours is, I don't want to say it unless you don't want it to be said, but I think it's one of the ones that's not an American-made car.
You talking about my Subaru?
There we go. Okay.
You know, a lot of the AI slop stories that are on YouTube, the ones they pick up from Reddit, one of the words that they almost never pronounce correctly is Subaru.
Subaru.
They always
yeah.
call it Subaru. That's one of the ways you know it's AI crap.
They do the same thing with Saab. If you get some of the older Reddit stories,
Mm-hmm.
they'll say
Saab.
Sab.
Siab.
Yeah, they'll say Sab.
Siab.
That's how I can tell when some of the AI is getting real good. Like it can't read it because it's like, no, honey, it's ah.
Well, let's if you've
yeah.
got nothing, let's go to SkepTok, and can you
Go for it.
greet our chat for me, please? Because you are the
Yeah.
pronouncer of things, and I am not.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got several good folks with us. All regulars. Jay Blizza is here, and Silver Ravenwing popped in, becoming a regular. Of course, Green Badger is here. Hello, guys. This show for you. Love to see your comments and see you running conversation while we have ours. Anyway, thanks for coming by. It's great to see
Let's see. Last time you announced a new family member.
you. Yes.
I don't think you can top that, but do you have anything new this week?
and by the way, mother and baby continue to do fine, doing all the
Yay,
things that
babies.
normally happen at this stage.
Mhm.
Let's see, other things to report. You know, people know that I have a lot of interest in the goings on of the Middle East, and boy, has that been an interesting place to think about in the last couple of days. So that's been quite a diversion while I've been doing some rather strenuous other things in my life. My wife is still recovering from surgery,
Mhm.
continues to bend. She's doing quite well, but I'm involved in helping her from time to time.
Mhm.
And she had wanted to shovel 500 pounds of compost the other day. I said, "You just had surgery." I said, "You do 400 and see how you feel."
She's a bad patient. I don't think she follows doctor's orders, but you know, she knows how she feels, and at this point, she probably seems to know what she's doing.
The
So
rest of the story is she went out and shoveled about half of about 250 pounds of compost all by herself. And then I did the rest. That's a real story. That was 5 days after 2 big incision, back surgery and front surgery. So it's front abdominal surgery and back through the spine.
yikes.
That's nobody will ever say that my wife is not a tough woman. She's really one of the toughest women I've ever met.
Fortitude is a good thing, and it's underrated. You know, you
Yeah.
talk to people about, you know, what are you looking for in a partner? And, you know, it's like, oh, I want her to be blonde and skinny and, you know, curvy, whatever, you know,
Smell
comely.
like popcorn.
Yeah, whatever. You know, like a human version of cotton candy. They give these descriptions, and they never, and sometimes they'll actually be one level deeper. Like, I want her to have a good sense of humor, want her to have, you know, emotional intelligence or words to that effect, whatever they're calling it on any given day. Rarely do you run into people who are smart enough to know, or I say wise enough to know, that fortitude is one of the things you want on that list.
It's
Because
so important to me.
if you want a partner, you want a dependable partner.
Oh, it's so important.
You really want somebody who, who, like, for instance, imaginary girlfriend. We've talked enough about like stuff you have to do during an earthquake and all that sort of stuff. And if there was an earthquake right now and I couldn't get a hold of her, I would not be overly worried because I know that she can handle herself.
She'd handle business.
She can handle herself. She can take care of business. I don't have to worry about her just doing something stupid like pulling out a Bic lighter and blowing herself up because she couldn't find a flashlight and there was gas leaking.
I was testing for gas.
You're not supposed to do that?
Well, after Loma Prieta, somebody actually tried to do that. I was working in a restaurant. I know I've told this story, so I apologize. And it was pitch black in the back. And the guy from Colorado who was managing the place said, hey, it's dark in here. Does anybody have a lighter? And I screamed, no, as loud as I possibly could. And got out my mini mag light that I had in my pocket at the time because that was state of the art. And got everybody outside. I mean, it wasn't like I was a superhero or anything, but I kept them from potentially blowing up the building. So, yay me. All right, let's see.
There are bottled gases that blow up very nicely that you can't smell. Does everybody know that?
Well, they odorize it.
Yeah, they do odorize it.
Well, I was thinking about killing rats using antifreeze, and I did a little bit of research into it. And a number of things said, oh, it's inhumane, don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I've been pushed too far, finally, and I kind of don't care. But they actually put bittering agents in it to keep animals from eating it now.
Yep.
Which is good because a lot of like cats and dogs die from it, and I don't want that.
Well, it's like, we have to be careful what kind of sidewalk salt we get for the small little bit of sidewalk we have for the house because we have so many animals.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get the pet safe kind.
Yeah. We get that too. It's expensive, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever cause problems there.
There's too many of our cats around here. I can't take the chance. The dogs, for the most part, don't go out front because that's basically where we do it. Because if my dogs go out the back door, it's like small little piece of concrete and then grass, so they're fine. But the front sidewalk, if the mailman has to walk up or if anybody delivering packages, I don't even want to hear whoop and just boom. I don't want to hear that.
Shall we talk about the obvious thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently all of that ordnance we sent there, it wasn't just that we were taking it for a spin, like taking all of our ordnance on a nice tour so it could see the world. We actually ended up using a bunch of it and killed a whole bunch of bad people. Now, they ended up killing the Ayatollah. Was it the Ayatollah's son? One of the top generals, if not the top general, and just like a whole bunch of assholes got killed. Supposedly there was cheering in the streets and people were happy. I don't know how much of that I believe, but
at least one of the videos I'm seeing that looks like it's for the most part real. They were ripping down the Ayatollah statue.
Good.
They were on.
And the claim from our government was that we weren't going to institute regime change. We were just going to create a power vacuum and hope that the good people who like democracy and not what they've been experiencing with the Iranian government for the last, 40, 50 years, that those people were going to rise up and set things straight. I'm not so sure. I think that's a lot of wishful thinking on our part. I'd be happy if it happens. But
Reza Pahlavi who's Iran's last Shah. There we go. My goddamn.
It's the last Irish what?
I was trying to say
I know, I got you.
Yeah.
I've done that.
He issued a statement basically said he's not declaring he's the leader. He's not doing that. But he basically just said there needs to be free elections and there needs to be international oversight, but free elections need to happen, and that's what needs to occur. So he technically, by right of, if they reinstated the Shah, he would be technically the right ruler, but he's like, no, it needs to be free elections. We need to stay. I'm not going to institute myself, and we need to do it that way. So there are people saying that it needs to go as well as it can. Yeah, assassin. Yeah, I think most people are aware that Iran is Persia colonized by Islam.
Yep.
I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. That's most of that part of the world was Persia and a few other ones. Because that's not how those people ethnically dressed before Islam showed up.
No.
So it's I get it, but at the same time, were we just supposed to not do anything? Like I don't. There's no good answer for this. Like Iran was going to keep going until they had nukes. They were just going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the crappy part. Like, do I think people should have to died? No. I don't think they should have to have died. I would have preferred we kind of did what we did with Murdero, but at the same time we can't hand them off to the EU because we all know the EU is practically bought by portions of Iran and portions of other things. But it's like it's a danged if you do, danged if you don't moment, basically, with this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the follow through that I'm more concerned with. Well, just to back up a bit, there was this guy on one of the channels I was watching, and they basically tapped one of the experts from the Panetta Institute in Monterey, and that's a world policy thing that's got Leon Panetta's name on it, and they have a lot of
George Soros.
Yeah, they have lots of Soros money, and they're big liberal thinkers, so it's a liberal think tank. So, of course, the first thing they glom onto isn't, whether you can actually do this or not and pull it off, which is the thing I'm a little skeptical of, is it legal? Is Trump really just this out of control maniac who runs around deposing dictators and, there's no adherence to international law? Or is he, this guy who's just getting stuff done and taking care of business? Now, I think, we're on slightly tenuous ground with the whole international terrorism thing. You can easily make the case that the Venezuelans were exporting drugs and getting involved in all sorts of things that were not in our interest. Okay. That's right there. There's not a lot of disagreement there. And you can certainly say that everything from the Houthi rebels to the Somali pirates and all these other people that were being financed by the Iranians, we certainly had an interest in doing something about it. And I think under international law, my layperson's understanding of it, that we're probably at least in the gray area. I don't think this is blatantly illegal. I mean, also when you're the world hegemon, you do get a certain amount of wiggle room. I could be wrong. What do you think, Skep?
Well, I think international law is a myth. It's unenforceable.
Yeah.
There's no one to enforce it.
What does that even mean?
Unenforceable law. What is that? Okay, so that's not. So international law be damned. You can get out and do. Might makes right. That's always been true. Machiavelli was correct. The one with the big spear wins the day. The one who can go in and be ruthless, and that's how the mullahs took and maintained power, was through sheer ruthlessness. And what you have to have in a power vacuum is somebody who is sufficiently ruthless to go in and seize power. And that may not happen, because what I think is going to happen is you're going to have a country full of fairly comfortable people, and they're going to stand around looking at each other. And then the remnants of the Shia establishment is going to assert itself, and they'll go right back to a maybe slightly more liberalized version of what they had before, but that will still be very reflexively anti-West. That's just one person's speculation, but that's kind of the way that I read a lot of the people who are close to this part of the conflict on the Israel side feel the same way.
What do you think of the Shah's chances of
Well,
winning
here's
or
the thing.
becoming
Here's the thing
leader?
about why Reza Pahlavi, why any Pahlavi family member could possibly get back in, is that enough of for years and years there were implacable Pahlavi enemies of the old Shah. These were people the Shah had just decimated their family, just destroyed their family, executed family members. They hated this guy. They would just suicide person after suicide person trying to kill this guy. But those people are all dead now. The
Yeah.
generation has passed, and it probably is cooled off enough where he could go in, he could be a figurehead person at first and maybe usher in the elections that would eventually, elect a person who would be acceptable to the major tribes and major factions. Little Iran's really complicated, but basically it has just wads of people all over the place with different factions, different political things that cut across, and there's no way that a person who is effectively an outsider will come in and lead that country effectively. In my opinion, I think they're going to choose an insider. They would have to go with an insider, but a guy like Pahlavi could be the figurehead, the catalyst, maybe could make something like that happen. But you got to have a strong man inside who's ambitious and who is a Democrat, who's not part of the Shia malocracy, and the Shia malocracy is huge. Just saying.
So,
But at least on a
that's how
happy note.
SkepTok killed the scream.
no, it's okay. I had to clear my throat, or I would have talked a moment ago. Go ahead, Trinity.
But on a good note,
Yeah,
he's dead.
Yes.
And several officials are gone.
yeah.
Happy when you can, it's sad when it happens.
I'm just,
That's all we can do.
Word up,
I'm just
girl.
apprehensive.
Word up, girl.
I mean,
no, absolutely every right to be apprehensive. No
I-
disagreement, Ari.
I just
But-
worry that we're just playing whack-a-mole with assholes. So, let's-
It's that area of the world. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think there is any other.
there is
Yeah.
no
It's
other
the
way.
game. It's
yeah.
the only game in
Yeah.
Nina.
strategic
sad.
bombing will continue until morale improves.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing of like Iran in retaliation because they know they couldn't hit Israel or America started going after Dubai and Bahrain
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kuwait and all that kind of stuff. Like this is they couldn't even try to hit us, even though they tried to claim they hit a empty warehouse on the only thing they've actually been confirmed to have hit on an American base was an empty warehouse. And that's
Yeah.
it.
They did get a missile in Tel Aviv that did kill a lady.
Yeah, but considering what they have claimed what they were capable of,
They shot hundreds of missiles,
yeah,
and 2 made it to Earth in
Yeah.
Tel Aviv. 1 damaged a parking area, and the other one killed that lady.
and I think now Skep will correct me, but I think one of the
I
missiles
won't.
they shot into Dubai hit a hotel.
Yes, a hotel got
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah, and it's like really, it's like I understand going after American military bases in those countries. I understand that, but maybe don't piss off the people in Dubai. Like maybe don't do that. Like,
You're not going to get any chocolate that way.
it's just like, way to go, guys.
So I have something that I think will cheer you up. I want to move to the other side of the globe and talk about Korea. So you guys are familiar with this whole Johnny Somali thing, right? That's been going
Yes.
on.
Hello.
Yeah.
God, what an
yeah,
asshole! What an asshole this guy is.
I just love how
It's delicious, isn't it?
it's just so good.
So the prosecutors are not messing around. So I guess a lot of this is up to the prosecutors. And
Yeah.
he's looking at up to 3 years of hard labor in South Korean jail.
Yeah.
In addition to that, because of he did a like a deep fake where he and this other woman, without her permission, he released this deep fake, and that's apparently very illegal in South Korea. So
Which is ironic when you think about all the stuff that
yeah,
Korea has
you know.
plagiarized.
We've seen your robots, Korea. So so this is going to get him labeled as a sex offender.
Yep.
So he's going to have to register as a sex offender there. Because of the way our sex offender laws work in the United States, if he's tried in a country where it's considered he gets a fair trial, he's going to have to register as a
There's
sex
a
offender
sex
in the
offender,
United States
Yeah.
within 3 days of coming back.
Right.
Yep.
And because he's going to be a sex offender there's a bunch of work that he could do in prison that he won't be allowed to do. So he's just going to be thrown into some rock pit with a bunch of other sex offenders just breaking rocks into smaller rocks for 3 years. I mean,
Well,
he
they
hasn't been
also-
sentenced yet, but this is it's not going well for him.
Well, they also have communal jail cells,
Mhm.
so it's not like it's bare bones. Like mats on the floor, you get fed rice and a little bit of meat, like 2 or 3 times a day, maybe. You're in the same room, unable to get away from other people. Like, and it's not like American prisons where it's like maybe 2 or 3 other people. This is like 7 or 8 other people,
Mhm.
and these are hardened, and the obviously the guards don't give a shit. And I'm going to speak on the uh, ethnic tendencies of Korea. The darker your skin color, the less you're liked. So he's not going to get treated well if he somehow doesn't try to duck.
Mhm.
But if he ends up getting sent, he's not going to get treated well. Like they will, I depending on who he gets bunked with, he may not survive the 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, this is FAFO if there ever was any, because in the United States, he could have just continued to get hit with increasingly bigger fines for just being a general nuisance, and every now and then he'd break shit or cause some damage or do something mischievous that was bad. But you go to Korea and start doing, miming lewd acts with statues that are supposed to be culturally significant.
Culture is a thing.
They don't. They're just like, no.
It's mostly because he's a foreigner. If it was someone who Korean descent who had money, they wouldn't have been touched either.
Well, we're happy that it's him. And
Oh yeah, no,
and
I am. It's just
I think this is a teachable moment for Johnny Somali, and
it
hopefully this will
won't
give him time to reflect on
Yeah,
what he
it
has
won't.
done. It'll be great.
He's the victim in all of this.
Well,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is. He actually, apparently his behavior in court was not well received either. He tried to basically say, well, I didn't know in the United States this would be legal, and they didn't take kindly to any of that.
Mm.
Sounds like superiorism.
Well, moving north, Kim Jong-un's sister promoted in rare North Korean party conference. Take a look at that face.
She looks
Take a-
more and more like a skeleton every year.
She looks,
While her brother continues to bloat, she just gets more and more
She-
skeletal.
Wait. I could fix her.
no,
I
she's
could
way,
fix that.
okay. I know I said what I said about fortitude earlier. Disregard that now. Because I think she's probably got a lot of fortitude. But essentially, she's like a department deputy head, technically, in the party apparatus, and they moved her up to head. So her title's just a little bit incrementally higher than it was before, but she's not going anywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
So Kim Jong-un, he's in it. He loves helping the ladies get ahead. So his daughter has also been running around. So there they are in their little matching leather jackets. And so
I think is she the only legally recognized child or just only legally recognized daughter?
I don't know.
I believe she's the only recognized daughter. I believe.
Yeah. Now I'm pretty sure this is just
Ooh,
me guessing, but I'm
horsies.
thinking that his sister will shank her before the daughter would be able to take over.
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's the jokes all on Twitter. Like when one of the original stories are saying, "Oh, he's planning on having her succeed and not the sister." They're like, "Oh, well, an accident's about to happen," you know.
Yeah. Kim Jae is the only recognized, publicly confirmed child of the country's leadership.
Well, I guess we wish Kim Jong-un
She looks like her mom.
a long
like
and
she-
healthy life.
When I see that picture, I just think of that line, "Here comes old flat top."
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you have to do to get people not to tease you about that haircut? Apparently become dictator of your country.
But God, she looks like her mom though. Like holy crap.
Yeah. If they get matching
this
haircuts,
a
that would be
good thing?
hilarious.
Her mom's very pretty. Her
Is she
mom's
still
awesome.
alive?
Yeah, her mom's still alive as far as I know.
Okay.
Her mom was a air quotes traditional pop artist in North Korea. So she was a pop star as much as you can be in North Korea. But she thankfully looks like her mother. That's what I mean.
Yes.
Like, thank God she looks like her mother. But can you imagine that man's face on a woman? No.
No, the poor
That poor
person,
child. That poor child.
Well, I don't want things to get too heavy, But you guys have been following what's going on in Mexico. I think that happened after last week's show, or maybe I just failed to mention it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's all kinds of violence going on with the cartels versus the government troops. And it's just the State Department's like, don't go anywhere in Mexico. I don't think there's any part of Mexico that's considered safe for Westerners or Americans right now.
Oh,
I could be
but
wrong.
spring
Maybe
break-
Baja's okay.
But spring break is coming, and stupid mother effers in the states, specifically out of California. No offense, Harry, are going to go down to Cabo.
You
They
can't
are.
blame California for all of
down
this.
to Cabo.
It's like it's
spring
fine, Mom.
break.
God,
How about San Lucas?
Jesus.
Yeah.
Have
Fine,
have
Mother.
any of you guys ever been to Cabo?
No.
No.
Because I've been to Cabo. It is great. It is really amazing. Down there at the very tip. It's the water is great to swim in, and the seafood is just amazing.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
I you laugh
Right.
about it, but it's really
Oh.
it's probably still safe to fly down to Cabo, because that is such
Well, I
so
think
Americanized.
I think the places spring breakers are going versus where you may have gone and eaten and enjoyed, it will be a little bit different. One is pleasant, lovely food, clean. The other one is the walking STD.
Yeah,
You know,
because we also know that these stupid high schooler and college spring breakers are not
like, look
going
what-
to stay where they're supposed to.
look
Yeah.
what
They
happened
never
in
do.
Florida. You know,
And
Yeah.
during,
there
like, the
there
COVID
is
outbreak.
there is a high end ghetto in
Oh, yeah.
Cabo. At least there
Mm.
used to be, where all the well appointed inns are on the water, and they're all stacked next to each other.
Yeah,
And then
and
you don't go into town. That's true.
yeah. Well, but that's the thing. Like, I've heard stories about them being like, "We went into town. It was fine. I don't know what you're talking about." And it's just like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, you idiots! Oh, you were
So
There's
lucky.
a
went
new-
into town and they disappeared. They never came back.
You were lucky, or you're that ugly. One of the two. I don't like. And considering some of these guys, sex traffickers, you have to be a homunculus to not get grabbed by some of these sex trafficking guys. So it's like, I don't know what happened.
Kidney check, number 1, number 2. Excellent.
It's like
Kidney check, liver check. Do I
Does
still
this
have
smell like
both my
chloroform?
lungs?
Yeah.
like, ooh. There's a
Okay.
new the place that I don't know anything about it, but it's be more popular. Hey, sorry, my dog. Tulum. It seems
yeah,
like
Tulum.
all
Tulum.
the like bachelorettes parties, at least in Canada, everyone wants to go to Tulum.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good monument country.
I'm sure the Mayan
That's
Riviera is
interesting
fine.
archaeological stuff at Tulum.
But the whole Mayan Riviera, I'm sure, is well patrolled by federal troops, and that there's not a lot of monkey business going on there.
I don't know how much I agree with Tijuana as the only capitalist part of Mexico, Silver Raven Wing. I don't know how much I
Yeah,
Like,
go to Mexico City.
Tijuana.
Go to Mexico City.
yeah.
Yeah, everything from Cancun south down to a lot of the pyramids and stuff. That's pretty well patrolled. But there are definitely parts of Mexico where it's no bueno. You do not want to go there.
It's a lot of Mexico, no bueno.
Yeah, a lot of Mexico is no bueno right now. So yeah, I think I have a little thing here for that.
Nothing beats the Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200.
Sorry, what?
I thought it was Sharknado. 'cause
Oh,
I saw-
Sharknado, yes.
Save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
So maybe that's not real,
Yeah.
but it is funny. That whole Jet2 holiday, English holiday thing turned
That-
into meme format. I love that meme format.
I love the fact that that's one of the longer running memes right now. That thing's
Yeah.
been going for like
£50
2 years.
Yeah. Yeah,
Does it
I'm going to go to
work? It works.
Lanzarote. It's a
It's still
volcano.
around.
I'm not
It
going to
works.
Lanzarote.
It works with everything.
It
It
does.
does.
It does. But actually, Adam Carolla, I'll pause this a couple times because I don't want to step on copyright too much.
Well,
But
no,
Adam
no.
Carolla had a modest proposal to solve all of the
Jesus.
problems. Okay.
I'm sure.
So
Okay.
so buckle up.
All right.
The solution for Mexico, what
Oh,
will
Lord.
fix Mexico permanently.
God.
Mexico is not fixable because it's 100% Mexico. and that's not good. It needs an influx of something else. Also,
Islam?
Israel will never be fixed because it's surrounded by terrorists who are anti-Semitic and want all the Jews to die.
Go to Mexico?
Now,
Okay, so
That's-
far
he's
so
absolutely
good,
right.
right? Actually, he did not say anything wrong there.
it's not because they want Gaza back or they want that's two separate homelands, or no, they hate Jews and they want them dead. Now, if there was something in Israel where it's like, oh, the Palestinians are reasonable people, they just want a little land on the coast back or something, that's fine. That's a negotiation. But if they want all Jews dead, well, then it's really a tough
negotiate with that.
negotiation.
Yep.
So far, so good. I know I'm going full Asmongold here, just
25%,
yeah.
50%.
I don't really feel like I need to add
Just
much
small.
to this.
What I'm saying, and I always said to Israel, you live in a giant ashtray filled with homicidal people that want you dead because you're successful and because they have horrible religion. Mexico needs Jews like no other state. There's no country that needs Jews like Mexico. Mexico is so short on Jews and lousy with Mexicans, and that's the problem.
Interesting.
The Baja Peninsula, which I have driven,
Yes.
it's where the ocean meets the desert.
Yeah.
And it is breathtaking. And it's not so different than Israel. I've looked it up. Average temperature, climate,
Look at the
everything.
woman.
It's all about the same. Listen, give Israel,
That's
just give it to all your homicidal neighbors. They'll turn it
we've
into a
all done.
shithole in 10 seconds. And you guys move to Baja and take over Baja. Baja will now have the greatest resorts and in general, whether it's governance or whatever it is, you guys need Jews in Mexico. And I've always said, for a place, that lives off of beans, they don't have a lot of bean counters. They don't have a lot of money, people. If you did a pilgrimage of Jews to Baja California and let them take over and start setting up businesses and start getting an infrastructure and government and all that, then Mexico would be a utopia in about 20 years.
So what do we think of
my
this modest
God.
proposal?
He's not wrong.
Oi to the
They got
veg.
Shine Bomb now.
His analysis of the problem is pretty spot on.
I mean, it's if you pull back enough, yeah, but there's already Jews in Mexico.
Well,
No, they have like
you-
a pretty big
no,
Jewish faith group there too, I suppose.
no.
Like
The Jews are not an overwhelming number in anywhere really other than the United States and Israel. Between the United States and Israel, that's 90% of the world, probably 95%. And the thing about the Jews is the people who are there and living there, they could never consider living any other place because of their religious tie to that particular piece of land. And that is just too important to too many members of that religion to ever be on the table.
Well, so much for that idea.
Yeah. Sorry, Adam.
No.
It's interesting that he would think that to somebody who is in that, I think in that culture, I think they would feel like, wow, what an odd thing to suggest, as though we could leave Israel. That could never happen. That could never happen.
Yeah, we'll either survive and thrive or we'll all get killed.
They'll die there.
Either way, those are the two options. No,
Yep.
No in between.
I do have to say I do the woman who was while he was talking, God, I've been there where you're just like, yeah,
just
yeah, sure,
agree.
yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
she's actually a journalist, sort of a conservative journalist person. And I can't remember her name. She does a pretty good job, but a lot of times when Adam's just on a roll, you just kind of got to let him go because he's the host.
You just it's smile and nod, boys, or no, smile and wave, boys, smile and wave.
Yeah, it's like,
That's what it is.
Thanksgiving dinner when you've got that one relative who's got the problematic views on whatever it is.
Well, the thing is like I don't see what, and I understand what you're saying too, but I don't see what Adam said as being problematic. It's just that's there's a contrariness to the Jewish people as well. At this point, they've been fighting over that land for so long. It's just wanting to
They're not
stick
gonna let
it
it
to.
go.
Yeah, it's just wanting to stick it to everybody who keeps trying to take it from them at this point. It's like, no, fuck you, my sand.
Well, let me reach out to Functional. Functional, I know
Hi.
you know a lot about entertainment and acting and things of that sort. How much
wouldn't know
experience do
about
you have sort of in the comedy sphere?
None.
None. Okay. Well,
At
you're
all.
you're familiar with Mark Twain and humorists like that.
Yeah.
There's a number of people that are sort of billed as comedians. Like some people say Joe Rogan is a comedian. I don't think Joe Rogan is a comedian at all. Certainly not in the traditional sense, not like Dave Chappelle or real stand-up. And there's guys like Adam Carolla who stand up and try to be funny, and they can certainly just blab for an hour, hour and a half and entertain people and bring in tickets. But I really think of him as more like a Mark Twain kind of guy, more of a commentator humorist
Will
than a
Rogers.
than a comedian. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm seeing the world differently than everybody else, but I'm not sure why everybody else doesn't make that same distinction, because to me there's like people who are really stand-up comedians, and then there's people who just make funny comments on things, and they're not stand-up. Stand-up is like an art form, and it's just not the same sort of thing. But maybe this is too far out of your wheelhouse, but at least I think I've made my point reasonably well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, agree, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to
Mark
say.
Twain. Mark Twain was great.
I have to kind of ask though.
Yeah.
Has Adam had surgery recently?
Do you think he's looking too stretched and too red or something?
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
that
know.
upper lip. It's that upper lip.
I don't know. I don't really see it.
Looks like he looks puffy and stretched. And I was just like, is he sick? Because that could be a sick thing too.
It could be EC on steroids, because certain steroids kind of.
Yeah, especially if it's
Bad in your
pain or
face.
something like that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's like oh,
I don't know. I'll have to pay attention more to that, because usually when I'm listening to Adam Carolla, I'm not watching Adam Carolla, because I find looking at him doesn't really add anything to the experience.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam. I mean, we're all aging as gracefully as possible, but
Oh yeah.
I want to say that woman's name is something Krause, but yeah, it doesn't matter. But she's sort of a conservative person, and a lot of times people will be on, and you just kind of have to go with it. When you're the host, sometimes you have to just sort of go with it too, with your guests too.
Teresa Strasser.
I don't think that's Teresa Strasser.
Okay. She's not the permanent co-host?
No, there is no permanent co-host. He used to have permanent co-hosts, and it didn't go particularly well, so he now cycles through guests all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got people that come in pretty regularly. Like some wrestler, MMA fighter guy goes by the name of Mayhem. He comes in a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mayhem.
I think he's actually a pretty good interviewer. But yeah. But then again, so is Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan Rogan draws people out in a way that other interviewers just don't.
He can be. He can also get a little obstinate, but that's every reporter. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Every reporter gets like that.
Everybody's got like their things. They've got their little push button issues or things they're going to get reflexive about. So, all right.
Is the guy Mayhem Miller? Is that the one?
I don't know. You know how I am with names.
If it is,
yeah,
he kind of cute. It's okay.
I'm gonna judge you now, Sora.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, not
nose?
bad.
No?
Not bad. No, not bad at all.
No.
Okay. So, okay, but this functional, this I can get your comment on, I think. Ryan Coogler's X-Files reboot gets Hulu pilot. Have you heard about this piece of crap they're going to do?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm hoping.
Do we need an X-Files remake? I mean, do we really?
I don't want a reboot. I want bring it back.
Continuation.
You know how they did the. God, what were they called? The funny three guys, not Deadman's guy.
The president.
Ian Peel?
No. The three guys. The
conspiracy theorist guys.
It's like
I don't know what they're
something with
talking
a gun,
about either.
load a gun, something gun. Anyway, so they did a spin-off. It didn't do very well. I think it got canceled fairly quickly. Lone Man Gun, no,
Lone
something like that.
Gunman.
Anyway, Lone Gunman. Thank you.
Oh, we get there eventually.
So something like that. I really liked that spinoff. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
So I watched it when I was a kid. So I want them to do something like that. Bring back the universe. That'd be cool. But don't reboot it. I don't want somebody else to be Mulder and Scully.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Smoking Man is still alive, but you can't replace the original Smoking Man. Bring somebody
Yeah.
else. You know, like there's two. I don't think, is he still alive? Baldy with the glasses, I think he was on Stargate afterwards?
Yeah, he was on Stargate.
But anyway, all of these excellent, those characters, they embodied those characters. I don't want to see anyone taking those characters away.
Yeah.
Or replacing them. I'm happy to have another show. Do whatever you want with it if it's in the same universe. Just don't replace those characters with new because you can make creepy governmental guys like the Smoking Man or whatever 100 times over, right? I don't know, make it even more sci-fi. Bring monsters, like more so with the monsters, make it more blatant, have everyone actually believe, because of what happened to Mulder and Scully, that people, the X-Files the X department, whatever, is not an actual joke anymore. And you can do so much with it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sora.
Yeah.
Hear me out here.
Go ahead.
Black.
Yeah.
I know.
But it's melanated. It's melanated now. It's more diverse by having everybody be the same color. Yeah.
So tiring.
It is tiring.
And that honestly would be perfectly fine if it wasn't a reboot. That's the problem. They can't just make it. Just take the IP. Isn't that enough? Would you have to take every single aspect of it?
Chris Carter is involved, by the way. He's still one of the producers. So they did bring the original X-Files producer guy back for this. But the showrunner is the gentleman on the left, and the woman at the top right is the only person they show up in the cast on IMDb so far.
Yeah.
There's your casting. And we'll worry about the implementation details later. We'll fix it in post. Whatever. I almost don't care. The fatigue is very real. I'm just still grateful they didn't remake Bewitched. Because when they were talking about doing a woke version of a woke melanated version of Bewitched, I thought I was going to kind of lose it at that point.
Yeah, that's just sad.
Like the shitty Star Trek Academy thing.
Academy, yeah. Starfleet
I tried to take a look at it again.
And
it's bad.
Awful.
It's really bad.
I feel like we need to start charging them money for the amount of time, like every single week that we've mentioned this show.
We
I feel
enact
like
the emotional labor. Yeah.
We need to send them a bill. Hi, is that Warner Brothers? I don't know who's doing it. Here is our bill for shilling your show. Please give us money.
Well, okay. Well, here's a super quick follow-up to something from a previous show. So Colorado law would force surveillance for 3D printers to prevent use in making guns, meaning that for your printer to be legal, it's got to be hooked up to the internet and the government gets to take a look at what you've been making with it. Fine. This is fine. This is fine.
Yeah, but aren't people just going to rename instead of having for all the parts, because they want to prevent guns, right? And parts of guns and all that kind of stuff. So then the people who, if you're going to do this, they're just going to start renaming, their patterns or whatever it's called, the files they're using it all sorts of funny ways, and it's just, and they're going to cut them in half or in thirds, and you just have an extra step in putting it together at the end of the day. But that
I think it's going to be way more intrusive than that, I'm afraid. Excuse me. Yeah. So, digital surveillance for all 3D printers because reasons. All right, let's just set that aside before I get too angry. Too tired to be this angry. Serenity, this was a EU story, wasn't it? South Africa secures release of 11 nationals lured to Russia to fight against Ukraine.
Yep.
I'm no big fan of the current government in South Africa, but yeah, that kind of sucks.
Well, I mean, it's like, I like the fact that they were able to do it, but at the same time, it's like, when you start doing that kind of stuff, like, I think think even the Ukrainians are going to go, hey, why are there so many black men? And someone's going to call it out when you start having a bunch of black guys who don't speak Russian fighting your battles for you. What happened to North Korea? Did they stop giving you troops?
Well, I wonder how much money Kim Jong-un, I mean, this is a serious question. I'm actually wondering how much money North Korea is getting, and how big a part of their economy exporting soldiers is to Russia now. Because I'll bet you it's not an insignificant amount of their GDP.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, well, it's they're exporting soldiers, but they're also those shitty munitions that everybody was making jokes of
Mm-hmm.
a couple years ago that were just like firecrackers in a metal cylinder. Like, yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
it's very, I'm trying to figure out how to say this.
Well,
I'm beginning to wonder if China's not pulling strings to weaken its allies this way it can take its allies.
well, shall we talk about China while we're talking about China?
Woo! I gave you a segue. Let's do
China.
it.
China deploys thousands of fishing boats off Japan's coast, and they are not there to fish.
Well, they are, but they're not.
Yeah, so it says here, satellite imagery published on 12 February 2026 shows thousands of vessels flying the flag of China operating in concentrated formations near waters administered by Japan. I guess the important word there is near. The images indicate the vessels were arranged in dense grids rather than dispersed in patterns consistent with active trawling, according to analysis based on commercial satellite data. Yeah, they're not there to fish. The development moved from imagery to enforcement within 24 hours. Japanese authorities seized a Chinese fishing vessel suspected of violating domestic fishery laws after it entered territorial waters. Yeah, good.
Well, but that's what China wants, though. China wants Japan or the Philippines or Thailand or Vietnam to do something to give them this way they can play the victim.
Retaliate.
To retaliate.
Yeah.
That's what
they want their
to
Fort
do.
Sumter is what they want.
Basically, is what they want.
Yeah.
And so far, thank God, the Chinese soldiers have been so inept that the movements to try to do it have failed. Like there was the one from about 6 months ago I think it was near the Philippines or Thailand, where it was they were harassing part of the Navy. Chinese ship was, and then another Chinese Navy ship came up, but it didn't see the other Chinese ship, and the other Chinese ship couldn't stop in time, so they just rammed into each other.
Yep.
Okay, that's funny.
That was yeah.
But that's the thing, like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Japan to get trigger happy to do something, so this way they can go, see, they attacked us first. We're the victims. We now have to kill them all. And that's what they want to do. Because then they can have a jump off point to go after Taiwan, because they know Taiwan's too prepared for them and they're relying on Japan not being prepared enough for them. That's not true, I don't think, but that's what they're relying on.
No, China is asshole.
Yeah.
And Japan has a very talented, capable green water navy. They can defend their coastline like motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have submarines and really good jets and the whole deal.
Oh yeah.
They are they're ready for defense.
Boat fleets that just do magical things.
So here's a thing that China was claiming they were going to do, and I have it listed under China/yeah sure. 100,000 tons with 88 combat drone meet China's Luanio space aircraft designed to fly over any target on Earth. China is allegedly going to build a giant drone space carrier thing. So it's going to be
great.
Yeah, that should be great.
Not a Death Star.
They're going to be able to fly in space in their giant space aircraft carrier and just deploy drones like it's one of the Independence Day movies. Just it's going to be great.
Where are they going to get the money for that?
Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen ever. Well, at least not within our lifetimes.
No.
So specifications circulated by Chinese state outlets describe the Luanio platform as measuring 242 meters in length, 684 meters in width, with a maximum takeoff weight of 120,000 tons. The triangular craft is designed to carry 88 Zhuangnu unmanned fighter aircraft equipped with hypersonic missiles and operating above the range of existing surface-to-air defense systems. Yeah, this is totally going to work, right?
I had to double check because I had to because it's funny. Do you know what a Luanio is?
I have no idea.
It's a phoenix.
Aw.
Crash and burn and then get reborn. That
Yeah.
because that's what you want to name that ship, guys. Hey, good going. Like you write your own jokes, China. Like, goddamn.
The thrust required to lift a 120,000-ton platform would need approximately 35,000 ton force or 340 meganewtons. To conceptualize this requirement, a Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine used in F-35 fighters produces 191 kilonewtons, meaning a Luano-scale vehicle would require more than 1,700 such engines operating simultaneously. Yeah. This is totally going to happen. And I like in this picture, it looks like they have a whole fleet of them, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Can't
No,
imagine anything.
no, China. No.
Like, it's just-
Bad
it's a-
China. Bad China.
And the thing is, if you're gonna make that, like, you don't want it to be the male because Luanio is the male word for it.
Mhm.
You want Luan, which is the female version, because then you can make the joke about dropping eggs.
No,
Like, come
that's
on,
cute,
guys.
Nice.
You're not even thinking as creatively as you think you are. Come
No,
on,
you just
man.
said Luan, and I just thought psyop. Okay. If you know, you know. Okay. How many people here know who Luan is on YouTube?
Nope.
Serenity knows, don't you?
I just think it's funny.
Oh, she's this, supposedly she's in the military, and she's sort of this manic pixie gun military girl who does a bunch of videos, and then all in her comments is just all these males talking about how she's a psyop for army recruiting. And I'm not sure they're wrong. I'm really honestly not sure they're wrong. I actually think she's really funny, but whatever.
I mean, you're giving her views there, boys. You're not helping the matter.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, this is something for you guys to look up. Okay, so let's see. I have a feeling a good chunk of the chat already knows who I'm talking about.
I have pretty good
It's
idea what
Luhan, I
assassin
believe, is what her...
Probably Luhan is
Luhan,
probably,
yeah.
but they sound, I can see where your brain goes, yeah.
Yeah, I can't pronounce things. Okay, so this is kind of funny. Supreme Court litigator convicted of tax evasion over income from high-stakes poker. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I
What
guess
any
he's really good at playing
details?
poker and then tried to evade the IRS on the money he made from it. And this is not a good
Num,
thing to
num,
do
num,
if you're
num,
going
num.
to be
Well,
standing in
if
front of the
he's-
Supreme Court, because there are standards and things.
Well, the thing is, if he's doing high stakes poker, those have to be registered matches. So they're going to declare what you won to the fucking government, you idiot.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to take
Don't
the chance of the
call him
IRS.
that. You're gonna hurt his fees. He's
But it's just-
special.
Yeah.
But now, if they were illegal poker games, he probably could have gotten away with it. But if they're actual legal, like high stakes poker games, they have to declare it. They're schnickel frets.
Yeah, he said a federal jury found SCOTUS blog co-founder Thomas Goldstein guilty of 12 of 16 counts after a 6-week trial in Greenbelt, Maryland. Jurors deliberated for approximately
Yikes.
2 days before convicting Goldstein on 1 count of tax evasion, 4 of 8 counts of aiding and assisting in the preparation of false tax returns, 4 counts of willful failure to timely pay taxes, and 3 counts of false statements on loan applications.
His
Yeah,
punishment, he's being sent to Mexico.
Exactly, to run a
Fix
casino.
their books there, baby.
Goldstein was charged with failing to pay taxes on millions of dollars in gambling income. Well, I mean, good for him. If you can win that much money gambling, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Justice Department prosecutors also accused him of diverting money from his law firm to pay gambling debts and falsely deducting gambling debts as business expenses. Well, hey, you know,
High functioning addict.
You-
sounds like.
Yeah, that's a high functioning addict who's got enough of a big paying job to cover his debts most of the time until he gets in too
Yeah.
deep.
go big
Yeah.
or go home.
Exactly.
Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb. See, children, it proves you can get a high powered degree and still be dumber than a bag of rocks.
Well, you know, it's not just the
Not
Jewish
just
lawyers
stupid.
doing it. We've also got this person here, former CEO of San Francisco Homeless Services nonprofit, charged with misspending $1.2 million in public funds.
Oh.
And there she is doing her walk of shame into court. Yeah,
Studios, take that much money, honey. Get your hair done. Like, goddamn.
Offered without comment. There just seems to be a lot of certain haplogroups getting into trouble for the same kind of thing over and over again.
Haplogroups.
I feel like
Nice word, Harry.
You
it's
bad
not
boy.
it's not because there's a problem with people and their race. It's because there's a bunch of people in the last administration in particular who, if they saw a particular color of skin, I don't think they looked very closely at any of the other qualifications. All they really cared about is, are you diverse? And then they gave them jobs, and there was no oversight, and they got robbed blind.
Exactly.
Of our money.
That's what happened. Yep.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that money that was in the LA Fire Fund, all that got that $150 million, that got sent to NGOs. 100% of it. 100% of it. It was $150 million that was there to help fight fires. And it just was given away to friends. Basically.
Yep.
Assholes. I can't even be polite about it.
Well, moving onward.
Sorry.
Former U.S. F-35 fighter pilot arrested for training Chinese Air Force. This is really
Air Force
bad. This is
amazing.
Sorry?
Air Force really looked amazing on this one.
Yeah, U.S. Justice Department accuses former Air Force officer Gerald Brown of training Chinese military pilots. I guess at this point, this is alleged.
Yeah.
Okay, former U.S. Air Force officer and elite fighter pilot has been arrested and accused of betraying his country for illegally providing training to Chinese military pilots. The U.S. Department of Justice said ex-Air Force Major Gerald Brown, once known by his pilot call sign Runner, was arrested on Wednesday. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. Was arrested on Wednesday in Indiana and charged with a criminal complaint for providing and conspiring to provide defense services to Chinese pilots without authorization. I guess he was a former F-35 instructor.
Yeah, you have to be licensed. You actually have to obtain a license to instruct someone in how to operate an F-35. And it has to be overseen by the State Department.
I once had a really great conversation with a guy who did training on B-2s. Got to actually talk to him for a couple of hours while waiting for some other stuff to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun conversation. An interesting guy.
What did you learn from it?
So long ago, I'm left with more an impression of it than a lot of details.
Just the feeling.
I couldn't tell you what I learned versus what I've learned on my own since then.
But the feeling that you got about this guy was what?
Well, we were just sort of talking about the process, and it was one of those things I always like running into competent people.
Yeah.
And
Amen,
it would have
brother.
bothered me if I'd come away from that thinking, God, who the hell do we have teaching people how to fly these things?
Yes. Okay, good.
Even though we've taken the nukes out of them and turned them into conventional bombers, back then they had nukes in them. And the training of people flying those things is not something to be joked about too much.
No.
I've seen Dr. Strangelove. I know how badly things can go, at least from the comedy stuff. So, Ukrainian startup launches production of segmented combat wheels. Now, I don't know if this is a good idea because it makes
Lego
it
wheels
easy to fix stuff, or if this is a terrible idea and there's a reason why nobody's done it before.
Don't leave those wheels on the floor. If you step on them, it'll really hurt.
Yeah.
Well, segmented wheels have kind of been tried, but not that large of segments.
Yeah.
NASA's doing not completely segmented, but it's kind of almost like a chainmail kind of thing. Wheel for going to Mars and the moon and stuff like that, because it can take a lot more damage. I kind of understand where they're coming from. I'd be worried about the sealant in between the joints going, but that's me.
Yeah. I think they're just bolted to a frame.
That kind of makes sense, and I can kind of go with that. It's just it's the whole fact of how much strain can that frame take? How much strain can the bolt take? How much Like, that's the kind of the thing, like, if it works, that's awesome because that'll change a lot of things for a lot of militaries, but at the same time, if it goes wrong, it has a very good possibility of getting some people stuck in very hairy situations they may not be able to get out of.
Well, tires are one of those things that you can kind of geek out on. You know how Jack Gunsky geeks out on concrete? Well, you can do the same thing with tires really easily. There's a reason why we all continue to drive around on these things. Like 40, 50 years ago, Michelin came out with something they called the TUES, which was a tire that really wasn't a tire. It was like a round surface, and then they had these flexible parts, and it sort of mimicked the behavior of a tire. But nothing is quite the same as a tire in terms of the way the sidewall performs and how it deforms and how the contact patch moves when you go around corners. And there's just a whole lot of reasons why the design of the tire hasn't gone off on some radically different direction.
Well, it's hemmed in by a zillion little engineering insights that each one make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Actually, those are the very tightly designed, is what I understand.
Slight reversal on things that we have talked about, Harry.
Yeah.
Assassin states.
Yep.
What are you talking about? You can arm an entire buff air wing with nuclear payload inside of 1 hour. That's what he states.
I read a piece recently. They were talking about the evolving use of the B-2 and how they've been fitting them and upgrading the systems and that sort of thing as primarily a non-nuclear force. So that doesn't mean you can't put nukes on the bottom of them, but primarily
we
they're.
Didn't mean to imply that.
Yeah, I wasn't saying you couldn't.
They're mostly going to be with conventional stuff.
I mean, you could.
Oh yeah.
You could drop a nuke, a Tsar bomb out of the back of a C5. It doesn't make it a nuclear bomber.
You drop them from an A6.
Yeah. No, but he makes a fair point. But I'm just saying its intended use is not what it was as part of the nuclear triad. You wouldn't just have them, flying out to the end of some thing and then turning around in a continuous thing like we did with B-52s back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, Assassin has stated more than once that we don't pay attention to chat. So I'm like,
no, I appreciate it because, there was a piece they were talking about mental decline and, as people get older, and one of the ways that you can gauge it is by how many ums and ahs and how, a lot of things in speech patterns are indicative of these sorts of things. And I've noticed that when I'm on the show and I go back and I listen, just kind of give myself notes, because I usually listen to the entire show the next day just to kind of see if I miss something. And it's surprising because when I'm multitasking, there's things you guys will say, like Functional will say something, and I'll realize that I got completely the wrong impression from what he was saying the next day. So that's like a note to myself. No, but I appreciate you watching the chat because if you guys are just off talking and I'm not engaged, I totally look at chat. But I haven't had a break this whole show. Maybe I'm just a control fiend.
Well, also, Assassin added that the non-pneumatic tire, this has been a U.S. military research project for several years now.
Oh, yeah.
So possibly we shared some info with them and Ukraine's using them and we're using them as test dummies.
I think for this kind of application, it might actually work pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
But the only way to tell is to take a bunch of vehicles, put these on there and see if they work out.
Well, and that's the thing, like testing on deserts will be real easy. Testing in muddy, boggy, rocky areas is the real test. Sand is okay. Rock and sand, not okay, but still a little bit. But you got to get that kind of terrain that's in that part of Europe that's very clayey and rocky and all that stuff. So if we did just talk them into testing it, and you're like, oh, whoop-de-doodle, we dropped a plan. Oopsies. See it for us. I'll go for it.
So the problem with it working as an engineer, any kind of engineer, okay, it doesn't even matter what kind. But once you start thinking like an engineer, you learn a lot of humility about stuff. Like you go, if I'm approaching a design that's worked successfully and hasn't fundamentally changed for a very long time, the first thing that should be in my mind is, we should talk about ways to improve on this, but there might be really good reasons why it's still the same way after all this time.
Yeah, valid.
Yeah, I don't want to be guilty of engineering hubris by just jumping at it. I want it to work. I think this would be great.
I mean, it would make it easier to fix tires and get them out there sooner. If, God forbid, we do go into another hardcore, like World War level war, But it's that whole thing. You've got to be careful with the whole mentality of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because that can also screw you over. So it's like, hey, someone's tested something, man.
No. I'm not suggesting that.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you suggesting it, Harry.
Yeah.
I'm talking about normies.
And most engineering people wouldn't do it. So this was the thing about Scott Adams, why so many people liked him, because he was dealing with systems.
Yeah.
And one of the best things, people always say, oh, we should teach people how to handle a checkbook and about basic finance and things. Yeah, we should also teach every single person coming out of high school about a Pew matrix. PUGH.
Yes.
If you don't know what it is, I encourage you to go look it up because it will change your life forever. It's like one of the best tools we've ever come up with. It's a way of just looking at factors and deciding between designs based on a set of criteria. And it's a great way of helping you make informed decisions about stuff. Like, which kind of laptop do I want to buy? Pew matrix. Very easy. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be preachy about engineering, but it is what it is. You guys are going to love this. Maybe not as much as I do, because I don't think anybody hates Greenpeace more than I do. Judge says...
No, I do. I'm in the Hall of Fame hating that.
Yeah,
outfit.
I saw this headline.
Yep. Judge says he will order Greenpeace to pay an expected $345 million in oil pipeline protest case.
If that is all beautiful. Greenpeace people, just douche. They all just look like douches.
Yep. A North Dakota judge has said he will order Greenpeace to pay damages expected to total $345 million in connection with protests against the Dakota Access oil pipeline from nearly a decade ago. A figure the environmental group contends it cannot pay. In court papers filed Tuesday, Judge James Goin, Goin, said he would sign an order requiring several Greenpeace entities to pay the judgment to pipeline company Energy Transfer. He set the amount at $345 million last year in a decision that reduced the jury's damages by about half, but his latest filing didn't specify a final amount. Yep. I mean, you basically went in there and you didn't just make your voice heard. You were a complete disruption. You did illegal things, and it doesn't matter if your heart's in the right place and you did the right things for the wrong things for the right reason. It doesn't matter. You don't have a right to do the shit that Greenpeace does, and I think this is a teachable moment for them.
Well, also, didn't they get caught paying protesters or something like that? I think that was part of it.
Wouldn't surprise me.
The self-righteousness is off the scale.
Yeah. All right. Well, along a similar line, maybe you saw that one in the news, but I bet you haven't seen this one in the news. Federal judge in Texas allows lawsuit against California Attorney General over ExxonMobil remarks.
You'd be amazed the people on Tumblr I follow, Harry, who are just like...
So Rob Bonta, who I've complained about before, but at least he doesn't seem to want to be California governor. He's always, I guess he was a runt of the litter or something. He's always trying to get attention.
God, Harry.
And...
Nice.
So he made a bunch of comments, and so now a judge in Texas is saying, yeah, you can go after him for some of the stuff he said. So a federal judge in Texas has ruled that ExxonMobil can bring a defamation lawsuit against California's Attorney General over comments about the company's plastic recycling efforts.
Good.
U.S. District Judge Michael J. Truncale in the Eastern District of Texas said in a ruling earlier this month that California Attorney General Rob Bonta cannot claim official immunity in regards to several statements he made, including one in a campaign email sent to Texas residents. Bonta sued Exxon in September 2024, saying that the oil giant encouraged consumers to purchase plastic products with the promise that the products would be recycled. He said less than 5% of plastic is recycled into another plastic product, and that recycling processes touted by Exxon don't work. Exxon said the problem is with California's recycling system. Exxon later sued Bonta in his individual capacity and environmental groups for defamation, saying that the comments harmed current and future business contracts. The lawsuit was filed in Texas near its principal place of business. Yeah, its place of business used to be in California, but they left. Funny how the worm turns. Yeah. Anyway, that's fun. You feel better? I feel better. Between Greenpeace and Rob Bonta both getting a
karma.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, that's a duplicate. So I remember I showed
Sorry, I had to do it.
I showed an ad for the truck driving school, and it was all about how you can bring your dog with you, and it'd be cool to go truck driving. They're continuing to make ads, and I think I feel sorry for them. This is their attempt at, I think, trying to get the youth engaged in truck driving. This is so bad.
Truck.
This is like a Tim and Eric thing. It's so bad. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
funky.
embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for them.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Poor
Apologize.
babies.
Yeah.
they're trying.
Yeah.
Poor little things. You keep trying, honey. You keep trying.
Well,
It
another
won't work, but you keep trying.
okay, hey, functional.
Yeah.
I know how you like telescopes, but this headline almost broke me. James Webb Telescopes takes a first peek inside Uranus.
Woo! Get that Uranus. Get it, baby. Get it.
European Space Agency Thursday said that a study using the joint NASA ESA-built James Webb Telescope has peered into Uranus's upper atmosphere. It is an important first step in revealing the nature of the ice giants both here and elsewhere throughout the universe. I mean, this is real science.
Yeah, that's right.
If you've got an infrared telescope or a near infrared telescope with a spectrometer on it, yeah, you really should probably check out the other planets in our solar system.
That's right. You check out that. You check it out.
Hey, did you get a chance to go back and look at that Venera thing from last week, Functional?
The what? Sorry?
Were you on last week?
No.
Oh,
No.
God, I need to send you that link. I found a great video about the Venera program, the Venusian landers that the Soviets put together. It's really interesting scientifically, and it's a really interesting story.
Disease.
That's where my
Yeah.
friend dude, Sora, my way with it.
I'll send you the link. I am old. I forget things. Okay, so another follow-up. Yosemite Park Ranger who was fired after hanging transgender flag files lawsuit.
They would.
Of course she did. Of course she did. You're working at a national park and you've got, arguably one of the best jobs a person could have if you like the great outdoors. Can you imagine how lucky you have to be out of all the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who want to work at Yosemite to get that job? Your job is to work outside in one of the most beautiful places on the planet.
But you're not happy, are you?
But you're not happy. It's not enough. It's not enough. I just have to go hang some trans gay something flag on the side of what was that half dome? I can't remember which thing it is. Oh, El Cap.
Half Dome or
El Capitan. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
El
El
Capitan.
Capitan.
Yeah, so she's got to hang some transgender pride flag on the side of El Capitan. And of course she loses her job because that's just not what you do. Who knows?
Shame she didn't lose her piton.
It's like you're not there to express your personal opinions about stuff. You're there to be a park ranger. You have a job.
Yep.
Nobody's supposed to hang stuff. You're not supposed to put, Bush v. Gore signs up there or
Lady,
Burma
anyone who
shave
cares
or
is you.
whatever else. Kilroy was here.
Yeah.
Nothing goes on El Capitan.
We like our nature au natural.
Yeah. An ad for granola. Nothing. You put nothing there. But she thinks that because she's part of whatever group that means she just gets a free pass.
Well, she wants to be able to point to that and say, I did that. See how virtuous I am.
I was brave enough. I was brave enough
Yeah.
to risk having one of the best jobs a person like me could possibly have. Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, congratulations, dumbass. You lost your job and now you're going to sue. And I think even in California, you're not going to win.
Pro level shithead.
Yeah. Go pound sand.
Yep.
Really, she just needs to grow up. I don't know if she has a good relationship with her father. I somehow doubt it.
I was going to say that I think we got a daddy.
But if you have a dad and you like him and you get along with him, go talk to him and get some advice about what not to do next time. He'll set you on the straight and narrow. Okay, so
If you don't, call this number.
So there was Sabine Hassenfelder video where they were talking about the impact of AI on theoretical physics. So if you take a bunch of data and you come up with some sort of mathematical model that predicts what's in there, right? You have a bunch of data, you produce a model. There may be a lot of different models that all produce correct answers. The question is like, well, what does any of it mean? Like, do we care? So if there was some superintelligence, some alien superintelligence that landed, and you walked up to the alien superintelligence and gave it a daisy, and then in return it would answer any question you wanted, and then it gave you some piece of information, and then you struggled, and humanity struggled 2,000 years to understand it. I understand that story. But the idea that we're going to take important things that we think about and just let computers give us answers that we may or may not be capable of understanding, I'm not sure what that really means for humanity. Like, for an individual, it'd be like, oh, well, I found the solution to this laminar flow thing so I can make a better jet engine. But what does it mean for humanity in terms of like our accomplishments? We just outsourced all of the really important work to machines. I don't know. I'm going to play the Sabine thing. That's stuff sort of laying the foundation. I'm just going to play this little bit here.
More immediate and faster change. That is the rapid decline of PhD and postdoc positions. Why? Because the major reason for most of these positions is that tenured professors need cheap labor. Young people do the work, older people pay them, and in return they get to put their name on the papers. The more papers they have their name on, the more research grants they'll get, and the more postdocs they can hire. You get the idea. I refuse to play this game, and look what it got me on YouTube arguing against 100,000 insulted theorists who pretend they don't understand what I'm saying. In any case, the rest is now.
And that is the wrong timestamp, and I'm not really sure why. Okay. What Sabine was supposed to be saying there was the computers are going to sort of figure things out, come out with these models, and it might just become the job of scientists to try to figure out what it means. And if so, maybe that's okay. That's like having a really smart friend that you ask who gives you the answers and then tells you to go off and do the homework and figure it out. I could live with that.
What part are you uncomfortable? Where is your line? What function does AI have to take over where you get feeling?
Well, I'm just talking about like the future of humanity in general, right? I'm talking like super big, big picture sci-fi.
It to that.
And that line I'm worried about is having answers that we can't understand. What does that mean for us as a species? It might mean we can get things done, but I don't think it really means much for our intellectual, spiritual evolution as a species if all we do is just get handed answers that we can't possibly fathom. And I think as people become more dependent and infantile compared to these machines, that in 1,000 years we might literally be an idiocracy because there's no actual value to people being smart.
But what will fade is fundamental skills that have long been taken over by AI. After 100 years of AI, once that happens, once you have 100 years of AI, that will be all there is for times tables. Kids will not memorize times tables ever again. They will not learn to make block letters. If they want to record something, they'll just record it in video or in some other format. There'd be a lot of things that be irrelevant just based on technological evolution by then.
Well, if you're working at the Perimeter Institute studying a particular problem and you use AI and AI suggests a theory, which then you go, yeah, it looks pretty good, and then you put your name on it, what does that even mean? Do you get the Nobel Prize because you were the one competently using the AI tool? I would think at some point you have to at least take the thing that comes out of the AI and make some sort of judgment. And again, it may take decades of people looking at it to figure out if it actually works. I mean, we're still talking about whether frame shifting happens and, in terms of Einstein's theory of relativity. There's things that we're still testing, the theoretical physicists. I'm sorry, the experimental physicists, who are the unsung heroes of all of this. Sorry, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get up my own ass about this stuff too much, but
I'm going to put you down and say no to close the patent office.
Say no.
you're not like Lord Kelvin. Remember when Lord Kelvin declared that everything had been invented?
Oh,
Shut
no.
down the patent office.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think more research needs to be done.
I think that it's fine to get hints from AI. It's fine to get new ideas from them, but ultimately humans have to understand what's coming out of the AIs for it to have any meaning. Otherwise, we're just just working for the AI at a certain point, and we stop mattering.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing as if some super intelligent space aliens landed in my front yard, and I started asking them questions. That them giving me the answers doesn't necessarily benefit me. It's only when I understand the answers that anything's been accomplished. I mean, I know I'm being a bit of a purist, but this is the way my brain works. All right. Well, let's see. I don't even use a calculator when I'm taking tests, so what do I know? Because I don't like shying away from the work that you're supposed to do. Let's see. Have we lost everybody? No, we still have 8 people.
No.
That's good. All right. Sorry, that got preachier than I wanted it to be. Under schools/winning, I was absolutely shocked to see the following story. Okay. Salinas Union High School District, the Central Coast, cuts 14 positions despite community protests. Now, I was thinking, oh, great. It's going to be, them cutting teachers because of enrollments, because of ICE or something like that. No. They eliminated 14, like one person who was in communications and 13 restorative justice facilitators. They had a budget gap and they fired like all these DEI hires. I am so proud. I am so proud of my part of the world right now, because I did not think that the universe is healing. I wasn't expecting this at all. I was expecting, they were firing the science teachers and all the other people. But no, they're getting rid of these supposed DEI facilitators. And of course, certain people who benefit from the decisions made by those people are up in arms. I'm glad they balanced their budget by getting rid of them. I'll bet you they got a whole bunch of money from like the COVID time, from the Biden administration to do all this sort of stuff. And then when the money dried out, and the budget started collapsing, they had to do something. And instead of doing something stupid like, firing the science teachers, they actually got rid of the dead weight that doesn't do anything in terms of education. Yeah. Bon voyage. I can't believe it. This is the same school that had Shaniqua that got in trouble. Do you remember that a few years ago? Yep. Where they had the black doll, and they put the ankle monitor on it and passed it around and took pictures. And
this one, yes.
the people at the root were pissed. So arguably a school that might need restorative justice counselors more than others, as if anybody really needs one. But no, everything is fine. The universe is healing. Moving on.
That's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of woke losers, Megan Rapinoe slams clown USA men's hockey team for being co-opted by Trump. Does anybody care what Megan Rapinoe thinks about anything? Didn't she lose?
Was she?
She's that soccer player with the bad hair.
Oh, that's the soccer one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel she was a little bit of a poor sport at some point, but I don't know if that was a recent one or previously.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because she doesn't like Trump, she figures that any athletes that win something should just have to stand with her in defiance. I don't know. I'm not sure I fully understand it. I do know that I didn't like Megan Rapinoe before, and I don't like her now. I know plenty of lesbian people that are wonderful. She's just like an angry lesbian who's always pissed off about everything. She's not one of the good ones. I'll just put it that way. Sorry, Sora. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, that's fine. From what I know, the little I know, I should say, I didn't really look into this because it wasn't that important. If it's true that when Trump invited both women's and the men's hockey team, because they won gold, right? Mm-hmm. The women's team decided not to go. They didn't want to be made like a pawn in whatever he wanted to use them for, for his State of the Union address. A lot of places are saying, oh, well, the men laughed and were derisive about, calling in the girls as well. Now, if that is true, that is shitty and shame on you, because first of all, the women had many more world stage titles than the men's team, first of all. And I'm not comparing, they should fight against it or anything. But from that same point of view, they're definitely much more successful. But also you're on the same team, assholes.
Yeah.
You should have just shut the fuck up if that's what they did. They should have just accepted the invitation. Do you want to go there? You want to meet the president? You want to be in the spotlight? And you're okay with that? Fine, just shut up, do it, and don't make any other comment about the other team. You both won gold. This is very important. Stop it. Don't bring this, because now you're bringing back the whole discussion of misogyny and how people do not give enough anything for women's sports, and that's as equally as important as men's sport, etc. So I don't like that when it comes to stuff like this. I want them to be good sports, have good sportsmanship, and if what was said is true, right? Grain of salt, whatever. That is poor demonstration of it. So
yeah,
for me, that's where I stand on that.
Well,
the rest is I don't give a shit. It's just spread and circus.
It is. And Megan Rapinoe, your 15 minutes are up. They've been up for a long time. Just go endorse chapstick or whatever it is you're going to do. I did want to bring this up. I found this great little clip because speaking of the State of the Union, there's all this criticism of Trump because of his position on immigration. And what I've been trying to tell people is, look, I haven't changed. Politically, I don't really feel like I've changed. I'm probably a little more free market than I used to be. I'm probably a little more pro-death penalty than I was 30 or 40 years ago. Like I say, give jail a chance. But I haven't really fundamentally shifted all that much. The whole world has just shifted to the left. Let me show you an example that will make the point.
Can I? Oh.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if anybody watched the game. That was a good game.
Which one?
That was a good game. Canada, US men's gold medal game.
Oh. The men's was excellent. It was such a good game. We watched it. We watched it at work. I don't
understand how anybody could be upset from sure, Canada didn't win. Oh well, get over it.
No, but the games
next year.
Both of them were good. But I got to see the men's one live, and it was an excellent. They deserved that gold.
See, we can talk about sports on Saturday. we can do it. Look at that.
I just don't
like
the NHL
hockey
very much.
No. All right.
Then stand up and show your support. First duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
This is going to make for great commercials. There's all the Republicans saying, yeah, American citizens are our first responsibility. All the Democrats remain seated, right? Okay, because he's a terrible bigot.
Not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
I mean, mad props to William Jefferson Clinton. He was a hell of a speaker. I mean, that is a good speech, and he made his point much more clearly than Trump did. But it's the same position. There's almost point for point. There is no substantial difference. I don't even think there's an insubstantial difference between the position of 1995, William Jefferson Clinton, and Donald J. Trump in 2026.
You're not wrong.
So, and if you ask most of these blue sky people, well, how did you feel about Clinton? Did you think he was a good president? Did you generally agree with him? What about his position on immigration? Were you calling him a Nazi back then? Of course they'd say no. They probably don't even realize.
They don't even know.
They don't even notice because they've forgotten all of this stuff has even happened. I don't think they spend time thinking about the past. You know, I think about the future. I think about the past. I care about these kinds of things a lot. But I think a lot of these people are, they're just the theater kids. They're just being in the moment and going with their feels, and they're not really worrying about the principles of things or the history of things or the context of things or anything else. It's just, you know, Orange Man bad, therefore immigration, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, it all falls from there.
Yeah. And, you know, and as I've said before, we've had lots of amnesty programs, and there's a whole bunch of people who are paying into the system, paying their taxes and stuff, and I don't want to see those people necessarily get deported. But, you know, we've got a big problem we have to solve, and we can't just let, you know, just all these little but this get in the way of doing what we need to do. So if you're harboring an illegal alien who's got a criminal history, you know, some violent thug from Venezuela, you might just be bycatch. That's just a thing that's going to happen. I'm not happy about that necessarily, but maybe you shouldn't harbor MS-13 people in your house. I guess there was a big MS-13 arrest today. I don't have a story on it, but I guess one of the bigwigs in MS-13 in the United States got arrested today. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, let's see. What we're we going to do? I guess is Serenity back? No.
No.
Because I have a thing. I don't know if I want to show it without Serenity being here. Okay, so let's go. We're mostly getting into palette cleansers at this point. I think everything else that's substantial can wait. Okay. Yeah, this other school stuff can wait. Let's see. This is a Japan thing. I can't do this. Okay, so here's one good use for AI. So it says, I came out as gay to my dad, and he sent his response with a fucking Trump AI.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, sweetheart, so about that whole thing you dropped on your mom and I last night, the I'm gay bomb. Yeah, we're going to walk that one back. Reverse it. Unsay it like it never happened. Like when Biden tries to say a sentence and everyone just pretends it was fine. I did some thinking, and here's the deal. Being gay. Complicated. Very complicated. Parades, pronouns, flannel shirts in the summer. Not good. Straight. Simple. Beautiful. You just date a guy named Kyle who grills and calls you babe, and nobody asks questions at Thanksgiving. Easy mode. So here's what we're doing. We're deporting the gay thing. Not you, obviously. You're perfect 10 out of 10 without the gay, but the gay part. Gone. Back across whatever border it snuck in from.
So I hope this is real, because I think the idea of making Trump AI things to just torture people seems like a great approach, don't you think? No, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. So have you heard about Karen Metal?
Yes.
Oh, God, no.
Okay. So here's a little bit of cop video of this woman just becoming completely unhinged.
Stranger when she accuses the officer himself of committing a traffic violation.
Hello?
I'm on the phone with your police department right now. You can't pull me over when my car's off.
Yeah, I can, because I got you speeding before you were stopped, so.
You should have had your lights on. You can't have your lights on and pull me over after.
Yeah, so it goes about the way you'd expect.
What did you now, you fucking idiot?
Negative, I'm waiting for my...
So somebody, this goes on for a while. It's a great video. I've watched the whole thing. It's really good. But then you get Karen Metal, which is sort of the musical response to this.
So I have to follow every fucking law with that fucking and leave the fucking scene without a turn signal. Give him a ticket!
Do you need an ambulance?
He must have a
Jesus.
Nice.
God, I'm easily amused.
Nice.
I'm so easily amused.
Yeah.
Apologies. Okay. So let's see. We have a number of things under cleanser. Let's see. That's serious. We can't talk about that. Oh, there's an A10 thing. It's going to have to wait till next week. This is actually, let's see. Serenity's not back, is she? No.
Not yet.
I have a thing that she'll really like. I can't show that. But we can show this, Skep. So this is, you're a dentist on an aircraft carrier.
All right.
This is a day in the life of a Navy dentist on an aircraft carrier out at sea. Of course, we start off brushing our teeth, and then we get ready, get our coveralls on, which is the uniform of the day, and slick back our hair. Then we're heading upstairs to go eat breakfast.
It's like a damn city.
This is the wardroom where there's coffee and all sorts of breakfast goodies. And yes, I live right below the wardroom.
That doesn't even look like you're on a
Then
ship.
we head down the hallway, which is called the P-Way, all the way down to dental. And so then we go down the ladder well. We're then greeted by our front desk, good vibes only.
Does that look familiar to you, Sora? See, that's just a reception. That's good vibes only,
I like
right?
it. Good vibes only.
The patient waiting room. Every morning
actually
we
very
say
cute. I
the
like
Navy
it.
Sailor's Creed, and we line
the
up
deck?
and all
that
say it in
terrazzo deck?
unison. Next
Navy
is
ship
cleaning
has that
stations.
stuff.
The whole ship is cleaning for about 45 minutes. And then here's the dental lab, then the dental operatory. It pretty much has
really
everything a standard dental operatory.
Yeah, it's a small
I
city.
really like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this was a really interesting video. I would love to
That's
see a
very
way
cool.
longer video of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, except for the fact that it's a little claustrophobic and everything's got fluorescent lights and their walls are made of steel, you wouldn't really even know you're at sea. This is like a small city.
You really get, yeah. It really, truly is.
Well, I still have, I have a bunch of furniture that, my grandfather got that his sailors made for him in the wood shop that they had. So I have a number of pieces of mahogany furniture that was made in the Pacific by his sailors.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's on my long-term list of things to do to refinish it. It's going to be glorious. I mean, it's going to be really glorious. I have 2 nightstands and a dresser that they made. Okay, though I digress. Let's see. Why have I got... I don't remember what this is. I just wrote AI fake women. That could be anything. Okay, how about outsmarting a security robot?
You are trespassing. Leave the premises immediately.
I just sat down. Can I just sit here for a minute? I'm tired. Let's take a break.
You are trespassing.
Me?
Leave the premises immediately.
Hey, look at that over there. He just stands behind it so you can't see it. This has got to be an early... This has got to be an early generation robot, because of course it's going to have sensors and know what's behind it and all this sort of stuff, but it seems surprisingly effective.
I feel like it's mean.
You feel like it's mean, like the robot doesn't deserve that?
Yeah, I just
Fuck them toasters.
Yeah. Clankers.
Oh.
That's what they call them, right? Clankers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think of like Johnny Five or any of those cute movies, and I just like, oh. Okay.
It's just what big AI wants you to think.
I guess
Feel
so.
sympathy for the robots, the
Yeah.
robots.
I usually do.
Robots.
Let's see. Minizu, we want more job is adult daycare videos. I don't understand. Okay, sorry. I don't understand. I probably should, but I'm tired.
Oh, I love this guy. He's awesome. My dogs would never. He's so smart.
I got an idea.
What a good boy. Yeah.
He's such a good boy.
So do we have Serenity yet? No, I don't think she's coming back. Okay. At least not before the show's over. Let's see. Yeah, I've got a few different things here, but let's see. So here's the hero that Japan needs but doesn't deserve.
Machamon!
Is it? Oh, he did say Matcha Man. Okay.
Yeah, it's Matcha Man. He's making tea.
I thought I misheard.
Japan.
I love her expression. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is gonna save me. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times.
Look at her face. What?
So there was, I guess I'm going to talk about the A10 thing since Assassin is still here. Oh, the U.S. Navy video was my job as an adult daycare girl video. Got it. Okay. Okay, so here's an A10 thing, and it's kind of sad. So last A10 to leave depot, maintenance squadron to deactivate. So they've been trying to move from the A10 to the next thing for a long time now. But I guess the big maintenance squadron that's been working on these planes, last one came off the line, and they're going to deactivate the unit now. It says the Air Force will send off its final A-10 Thunderbolt II from depot maintenance this month and deactivate the unit that performs overhauls, upgrades, and rebuilds on the venerable close air support jet. Closing the depot signals another step in the Air Force push to retire the A-10 and could mean future major repairs to particular aircraft go unresolved and hasten the end of their service lives.
Aww.
Yeah. They need to come up with like the Burt 2. Well,
is it just getting really old?
It is really old. I mean, it's a really old design, but
mission shift.
You know, like I was saying with the TUR earlier and the Pew Matrix and making good engineering choices, it's like you've got something that works, unless it's like really, really expensive to maintain. Like, you know, the German tanks in World War II, where it was an hour of maintenance for an hour of operation. I mean, it was like some crazy ratio.
The opposite is true. The opposite is true.
Well, I didn't say it was true. I'm just saying, unless there's something like that, there's really no reason to get rid of it until you have something better.
Change oil every once in a while. Fine.
Well, it's just sort of like, well, when we run out of A-10s that are able to fly, then we'll be forced to get something new. It's like a poison pill kind of strategy. It's like,
it's such a simple plane. It
Yeah.
really is a simple, overpowered plane. Like an overpowered Cessna made out of titanium.
Yeah, and every time like some Houthi machine gun bullet hits the bottom of the titanium bucket that the pilot's in, you just get your ball peen hammer out and just peen that back out till it's flat. Look here, ready to go.
Yeah.
All over again. This would have gone through you if you hadn't been sitting in a titanium bucket. I don't understand everything the military does. You know, they talk about, oh, well now we've got the F-16 and it's great and it can do everything. Yeah, it can do lots of things, but maybe not everything really well. And then there's the whole...
Does it do everything that it does well enough to justify its existence?
Yep.
Then the answer is probably going to be no fairly for the F-16.
Well, let's see. Assassin's saying the Warthog is younger than the F-15 Eagle. Well, the F-15 Eagle's still being developed. They're coming out with whole new versions, and not even including retrofits. There's like whole new versions of that plane coming out all the time.
The F-15 is a far cry from...
It is really a perfected design, but it's not. It's really an air superiority fighter, if I'm not mistaken, not a multi-role fighter like an F-16 would be.
Well, but here's what they're doing with the F-15 is they're putting the electronics and ECM stuff on it to make it that, and it will be formidable. It will absolutely outfight.
The F-47 that they're working on, that supposedly is going to do its first flights in 2028. Okay. Hey, we're going to have an F-47 before we have high-speed rail in California. You can count on that. But is so expensive. I mean, we're getting a nice taste right now in the Gulf of what the F-35s can do. But the F-47 is such an expensive airplane. It's like, we canceled the F-22 program because of cost, right? Largely, it was just cost.
Yep.
And now I feel like we're just doing the F-22 all over again in the F-47. We're going to build a bunch of them. We're going to go, this is the best plane we've ever built. Oh, but we can't afford to make very many of them. The end. How does that story work out? I don't understand.
Find ways to do it more.
Yep. Oh, well. Good times.
And don't look for money.
Okay. And Serenity's still gone. Okay. I'll just pass a couple of these things. I have a few things that I have to pass on when she's around here. So anything else, folks?
Nothing from me. Proud and happy.
Okay. Well, this has been your Minions of the Zoo for Saturday. Thank you, panel. Thank you, chat. I think did we have any really serious technical problems today, or did we actually make it the whole way through?
No, there was technical
excellence from start to finish.
Started.
Okay, I don't count what happens before we started, though. That doesn't count. That's out of bounds. How dare you, Sora?
That's a mulligan.
Somebody changed, just so you know, inside baseball, somebody changed the stream key, and I had to, when I started the show, I had to go back in and stop it and then restart it with the updated stream key. But hey, that's what happens when you got a bunch of volunteers running a channel. Anyway, good night. Zoo's closed. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.